Got some random things I need to address on the Escalade here. Two of them are going to be pretty common, one probably not so much, but first thing is the DRLs bulbs. There's a lot of kind of confusion on this, but like this is high and low because there's a shutter in the headlight housing. DRL and this other little running light or whatever. So I've got one of these is out. So I wanted to swap it with LEDs. I got these from Amazon. I don't remember what brand. I'll put the link in the bottom if you want to, if they work out and you want to try them. But so I'm going to swap both sides with these. The other piece is there was a short. I made a short a few weeks ago about the struts on the hatch coming disconnecting, and that's happened multiple times since then. And hopefully it's not the ball that's the problem. Hopefully it's just like plastic fatigue on the struts. But anyway, I picked up another set of struts for the back. And then finally, the rear shocks, actually all the shocks on this have been replaced. It had the Magna Ride suspension, and you know, you got to do what you got to do. Those things are expensive. My preference would be to replace them with factory stuff and stick with the Magna Ride, but at this point, all of the shocks have been replaced with aftermarkets. The front ones are ones from, I don't even remember. It was something cheap, and they came with resistors to jump out the monitor system. The ones in the back are not. They had resistors also, but they're plug and play. But one of them's failed. I put a screenshot in of the code that I'm getting. So I've got these resistors that are supposed to be plug and play. There may be a problem with the fitting, so we'll have to look at that when we get there. But anyway, let's get to it. Only one of the DRL bulbs is dead. I don't remember which side it is, but I'm going to replace them both anyway because I want them to match in color. So this headlight, I've already pulled out these two bolts. They're 10mm bolts. One up here at the top, one down here. There's another one that's down below that you can access through the fender well opening. And then, like, I guess the right way to get the headlights out is to remove the basically the whole bumper. Well, that's broke. There we go, fixed. So is to pull the bolts out. There's some more 10mm behind it. Pull all these clips loose, get this top cover off, and then like the whole bumper will slide forward, and then you can pull the headlights out. There's videos on how to do that. We're not going to do that today because I think that I left, the last time I was in here, I think I left that bottom bolt out. And so with this, that actually didn't do anything for me. Well, I've got some more of those. I can replace it, but I think there's going to be enough movement here in the housing to get behind it. It's going to be tight, no doubt about that, but I may be able to get it to come out enough to get behind it. Okay, yeah, I can get my hand in there. There's a, let me show you, I'm bringing the camera around. You can see, I don't know that the lighting's not great, but that, we're going to unscrew that. It's a cover. Unscrew it, pop it off. Should be able to pull the light out at that point. There's a plug on the back. Grab one of those other bulbs right quick. So we may end up getting a little more involved here if necessary, depending on how hard it is to get the bulbs out, because I don't really know. I've never done it before, so it's going to be hard to, you really can't see it. You're going to be doing it blind, but we'll see if we can figure it out. So I don't want to drop that. Probably will. So unscrew that cover. Okay, it just turns like 90 degrees. So there you go. Now, okay, I can see. Let me get a light and show you guys a little better. You can see that blue wire. That's the one that's going in to the bulb. So I'll get my hand back down there and see what I can figure out about disconnecting it. And we're going to try to keep it family friendly. Okay. Whoop. So that came right loose. Okay. There's some other kind of clip around the bulb. Okay, it just twists as well. All right, that bulb's out. So that's what we got. So this looks the same. Probably gonna have to take that. This looks different, but let me just see. Yeah, that is right. It's just a tight fit. Let me see about getting this. Okay, so that just kind of pops those little clips, and then it slides off to the front. Okay, like that. And I'm going to try to keep this the same. I don't know if you can see that, but there's two tabs at the top, like index marks or index lines, so that it can only plug in one way. So we'll make sure we keep this the same. I don't know that this really matters, but I'm gonna try. Okay. Okay. I wish I had paid attention, because this is keyed as well, so it'll only go into the socket, into the headlight housing one way. It's going to be hard to see how to do that since I can't see the socket. But so let's try to get this plugged in and go in as one. It doesn't want to clear. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so here's the problem. You see this? Whatever, key. is about the same distance in from the side as that one. This one's farther that way, so it won't plug in. Can probably get a blade in there and trim it, and that'll probably work. So, because it looks like the pins are the same distance apart, they might be a little farther apart. I don't know. I'm going to play with it a little bit. I'll check back in a second. I was able to trim that extra key out of the way, so now there's just one on the top. Still hard to see, but there's that one. And you know, your mileage may vary depending on which bulb you get, but it looks like it's going to work now. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now if I can work it back down in there and figure out how it needs to be clocked, we'll be done with this side. One eternity later. It's in there. Just had to get it lined up right. In the little, the little tabs. So I'm gonna get this cover back on. And the other side, I have gotten, all right, yep. Cover is on correctly. Okay. Put this back in. There we go. Okay. Yep. There we are. The other side, there's a little trick to it too. You can get the air box, lift the air box out of here, and you can access it from the back. I've done it before. I don't remember exactly what the other steps were. I think there's a plate down there under the air box. I'm just gonna pull these screws right quick and see, bolts rather. Just to see, because if I can get that same access, because it's got that one down at the bottom, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Okay, so pop the air box right quick, and it should be wide open. Okay, dude. There we go. Like couldn't be bothered to tighten that clamp last time I had the air box out. All right. So disconnect the some mass airflow sensors. Press that, pop it loose, hold that out of the way, and this is, yep, so that's out. And you should just kind of be able to pull it and yep. There we go, easy as that. Okay, let's get y'all around here. Be hard to really see. I think I do need to, yeah, if I pull this plate out of here, this one, just a couple of bolts, get that plate up, and then you can get behind this whatever sheet, insulation, protection cover, whatever that is. It's like 10 millimeters. Grab my, everything's 10 millimeter, right? Yep. 4. Plate is out. Lay it over there where it'll short across the battery. Perfect. Okay, now let's see if we can get a little better view of the subject. Oh, it's got those, yeah, it's got those same, the little pegs that are holding that in. Grab my trim tool. It's hard. I know it's hard for me to get you in there. So just go with it. Doing it live today. Low production value. Okay. This is weird and it's precarious. What did it's dangerous and inconvenient. Okay, let's see if I can destroy these. Nope, that one came out good. Let's see if I can pop this one at the bottom. Yep. Yep. Wide open. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, some cover. Twisted it to the left. Whole assembly comes out. There's our plug. Okay, so this is the way it was in there, so now I can kind of pay attention. I twisted it to the left, so the two big tabs are kind of toward the bottom, so that's how it'll go in. Alright, same ordeal here, I imagine. Get this clip off. These bulbs are weird. I've never seen one like this before. I will put the information and the link to where I ordered it in the comments, even though they didn't quite fit right, just in case you guys want to follow exactly along. But right. Go. All right. So I'm gonna go get that. Yeah, this one's the bad one. You can see the part of the filament moving around down the bottom of the bulb. All right, I'm gonna go trim this key and be right back. All right. That is how the plug goes. Snap. Okay. So the two big ones are kind of down. You can look through the front of the housing and see Still not very easy. All right, that one's in. Now I'm gonna assume that these work. And go ahead and button this back up. I may just sit the air box in, because I need to, well, I mean, it'll run without the mass airflow sensor connected, but it's going to throw a code or something, I'm sure. So I'm just going to throw the air box back in, plug that MAF up, fire it up, and got ahead of myself. Didn't put the cover back on. So take that back off, cover on, air box back in, MAF connected, and fire it up and back it out so that the DRLs will come on. And then once we confirm that everything's good, I'll button it back up like it's supposed to be. So y'all are gonna have to tell me if this works, because the DRLs won't, you have to be in like drive or reverse, and the auto headlights have to be off. So it's going to, you know, I'm parked in the garage, so the headlights are on right now because things is dark. Pull out, auto lights should turn off, and then you guys, if I see you guys subscribe to the channel, I'll know the headlights worked. Okay, auto lights are off. Okay, there it is. Hopefully it works. We're on to part 2 of this adventure, the hatch struts. One of them blew out on me yesterday. So it's not gonna, the hatch is not gonna want to open right. We're gonna have to fight with it. And see, I actually didn't mean to do that, but now that we're on the move, let's stick with it. Okay. So that's the deal. You see what it does? It tries to open, tries to close, tries to open, tries to close, and then finally gives up. And the I guess the arm over there, the actuator arm disconnects. And what's funny is that I don't even know. Normally, when the strut entirely detaches, it just ends up throwing itself into the back. But it's just gone. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it fell out and maybe went under. I was kind of parked on a hill when it did it, so maybe it popped out and rolled down the hill. I don't know. It's like that meatball. You know what I'm talking about. So here's what I'm saying. So it's just a ball and socket. So we got the ball here, and there's the other one up there. And normally it doesn't really come detached from up here. It always happens from down here. So I don't know if the ball itself is just worn, or if it was the plastic, because there's just plastic end pieces here. So what I've done is I had the forethought to bring a stick, which you see over here just in frame, and that stick is holding the hatch up. At this point, at this juncture. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, and so this strut's gonna push out. And also, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to push up on the, man, this stuff is pretty serious. You're gonna have to push up on the hatch to get enough clearance to install the strut, and then this piece of wood that I've got is gonna fall on, hit me in the head. So that's just, okay, there we go. So later when I say I meant to do that, or I told you, you know, there it is. So, okay. This is different. This fitting, or this, whatever you call that, coupler. It's a different design than the other one, so maybe it's better. So you see it's got this angle, so that needs to go there for sure. And then this can, I don't know, I don't think I can really rotate it. Can't really, it's not lined up right, but I don't know if I'm supposed to twist this. Yeah, I'd have to turn it like 3/4 of a turn. It doesn't want to do that. Okay, so we're just gonna leave the leave this a little, it's threaded, so we'll leave that a little loose so that we can get it to line up correctly. That side is in. This one is where I'm saying it needs to lift up by about 1 inch. So maybe this won't hit me, or it probably will. There we go. All right. Push it up. And if that went fully on or not. Don't think it did. There it is. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that side is fully engaged. Move to the other side and same deal. All right, so now let's see if I can pop this one out. Should be easy because it's been popping out on its own. Yep, there it is. Same deal up there, just kind of pry it. Okay. That one is in. This one. Come on now. Okay. There we go. See how long that's lasts. If one of these blows out on me, I'll know that it's the actual ball and not the socket. Let's see. Wrong button. Yep. If you go back and watch the short, you'll kind of see the first time it happened or what I was talking about, but you can see this damage over here on the inside of the bumper. That's the hatch hit that because it was that side that came off first, and it was like it couldn't lift it. You know, the this is only pushing that one spot, and so it was causing the hatch to want to shift like this, and the bottom edge of it was hitting over here. All right, on to project number 3. So this project is the most exciting for me because, as I mentioned before, I've got aftermarket shocks all around on here. And when you do that on these, on the 3rd gens, well, other generations too, is a different technique. But when you do this on the 3rd gen Escalade, the 2007 to 2013, 14, whichever one, whatever the last year was, you can use I guess you'd call it a ballast resistor, or like if you're well, I guess not. If you're like a radio guy, it's like a dummy load, okay? So like the computer, the body control module is trying to hear or trying to listen, or suspension control, whatever does that, is trying to listen to input from the shocks, and that's how it knows how to adjust the dampening. So obviously on a passive replacement shock, that's not a thing that's going to be able to be done. So you have to, you can use a resistor in the wiring that goes to the shock to have the body control module think that it's still there, or that it's okay, and it won't turn lights on the dash. But in this case, the R-knots, they're actually pretty nice. I mean, it's a good solution if you're looking to do something and retain the air and just not have the magnetic ride control. They're good shocks, but they have resistors built into them, so they're similar in design to the factory shock. So you hook the air connection up, you hook the electrical connection up, and then you're good to go. But in this case, I've got a code, and I'll put a screenshot of the code. I hope that it says something about rear left dampener circuit. I don't know. I'm hoping that that's what it is, that it's a bad resistor, which apparently isn't too uncommon. But the thing is that I don't want to have to splice the wiring. So I kind of did in the front. I didn't cut them. I used these tap splice, where I could, and then use a spade or like a spade connector on the end of the resistor and plug into the tap splice, so that I retain the factory plug. So that way, if I do in the future switch back out to a factory shock, I don't have to worry about wiring. I can just plug it right back in like it was originally. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. So I bought these, and some people say it's just a resistor. You can see, it's the same kind of resistor that I have in the front, but it's sealed up in here and heat shrunk. But the bigger part is it's got this plug. And so what I'm hoping I can do is unplug from the shock and then plug directly into this thing. And that's clean. And I should know pretty quickly if it fixes it, because it's got a service suspension system warning on the dash, and also it's been speed limited to 80. So like I haven't been able to go over 80 in at least a year. So I hope this works. One dude said it did, but he said like like he specifically said, like he has a 2013 Escalade in the Amazon reviews, and he said that the clip kind of that snaps, it was on the wrong side for it to work, which I'm not worried about that. I can zip tie it and make that happen. But so here's where we are. I hope you can see that, but that's the factory electrical connection that runs into the top of the R-knot shock. So I'm going to get that unplugged and then see how closely we are to fitting. It kind of doesn't look actually very promising at this point, but let's see. Okay. Nah, I don't think it's even close. But let's just see. Nope, no dice on that. So, if anybody out there knows the what the plug, the male side is to these resistors, or like what the plug on the shock is called. If I had those with like just a pigtail, I can make my own one of these that will fit. But yeah, this 100% will not work on this one at least. Okay, I'm gonna take a peek under the front and just to see if it's if they might work up there, because I do have those hardwired resistors up there, but you know, I would still like to have a plug and play solution. So if this does fit the fronts, then I'll swap those out for these. But anyway, back to the drawing board on that one. Those did work on the front. The tabs, the retaining tabs are different, but the plug goes right in. And it's a pretty solid fit, but I put some zip ties. I zip tied the harness back to itself, and then around kind of the top, the plug end of the resistor to that retainer. So they do get hot, and so I'm afraid if I get too close, it might burn a wire, but we'll see how this goes. After I put those resistors in the front, fired it up to get it down off the ramps, and there's no service suspension warning. So maybe the front resistors were the problem the whole time, and I just assumed, well, I mean, there was definitely a code that said it was coming out of the back, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, we're about to go on a test drive, see how it goes.